quite an issue with the paint. So we want to let Dr. Smith kind of close the day, but I just had to say that Lori and Jimmy, if we unwrap these buffalo and they're painted golden black, yeah, we're going to blame you guys. Dr. Smith.
Thank you all.
Do you remember this? You're supposed to say go, man.
Gosh, you all have changed some. I noticed a while ago as they mentioned the College High Buffalo, there was a little shudder went through the audience. But I tell you how great it is to be here. I'm glad to be on the same platform with Bill Beersmith. You know, when I was principal and he was down coaching while he's just finished calling such great teams, I would send the kid who was in detention down to see if Bill Beersmith would come up and see me. And he would be there in 30 seconds. Now when you call him, you call and you get some number that has a recording, and you finally punch a number, and then you get another recording, and you punch that number, and then you get a lady who answers and says, just a minute, I'll dial his office, and she dials another lady. And then she pauses and said, what's your name again? And I told her and said, just a minute, I'll see if he will speak to you. There was a long hesitation after that. So it made me wonder, is he just contemplating? And maybe he doesn't want to speak to me. Well, he finally did. So he gave me the shortcut. Now you can reach him by going only 3 phones. So I'm doing reproducing a show here in Bartlesville. And before I get into that, some of you were in school when a young lady named Carolyn Snow came to Sooner High School as a poet in residence. Anybody have her as a poet in residence? You remember, don't you, Ruth, probably? That was in the fall of '75. She chased me, I guess, for about 5 or 6 months, and I gave up finally and went out with her, okay? So we were married in '78, and I helped her raise 3 children. We had a good life together. She died in 2005, and I'm still pretty lonely over that, but I couldn't help but recall that there were 2 really great things that happened to me that are so vivid in my memory about being at Sooner, and that was one of them. And I'll tell you what, when she left my office that day, I thought, I was going through problems myself, and I just couldn't forget that cute little great jumpsuit she had on, and so we finally got together. Well, this show that we're doing is called The Will and the Wind. The title comes from a song called Oklahoma Wind, which is Oklahoma's official waltz, which I wrote it. The second song was Oklahoma's Will, which was the Will Rogers National theme song for Will's 100th birthday, and I wrote that. So I say that to say we're doing a musical history of Oklahoma, and we're doing it with junior high and elementary students here in Branson, where we did the show in 1982 for the first time. What we're going to do is produce that and provide the tracks, the libretto, the costume list, the prop list, and everything. We're going to provide it for Oklahoma Public Schools so that if they want to produce the show in their community, they can do so. So I'm happy to be back in Bartlesville, not just for that reason, but because of all of you. And it's so good to see all of you. I saw 5 guys coming down the road there a while ago as I was walking down here, and I blinked, and suddenly they turned to 5 rogue kids from Madison Junior High that I had to deal with, I think, my first year as principal. And by the way, this show that we're doing is narrated by young Will Rogers. He just tells the whole history of Oklahoma, and we sing and dance all the way through it. We're going to produce it here in November 15th, so you'll all hear about it. and we hope you can come. You know, Will Rogers is the one that said, "I never met a man I didn't like." He never met Bill Beerschmidt, actually. He just It's so interesting, although this has probably been said in a much better way, that, you know, when we look back on our years in school, we don't remember too much about what we did, not so much as we remember how we felt being there. And it's pretty much the same here, Mr. Terry, and same here today. You know, we won't remember much about what any of us said, but before this is over, we'll go away and we'll remember how we felt about it. And I just feel wonderful about it, and I'm sure you do too. But back then we felt safe, and we thought the future looked bright, and we had our dreams, and we all had great feelings about each other. It was a place where we wanted to make kids, a school, a place where kids wanted to be instead of where they didn't want to be, and that was sort of our mission. And I felt like we accomplished that. And, you know, I just wondered, how could you get 13 National Merit Scholars coming out of a play school, which we used to be called, right, Bill? So, but anyway, you all did a good job. And I want to recall some people. And I want you to start from my office in the building and go with me in history and walk by Mrs. Johnson, Bill Holbrook, John Cole, Sue Shea, Helen Shell, Buell Green, and what was the other name? Carol Ebert, Dorothy Salem. Go across the hall to Charles Moore, up the hall to Craig Baker. The library is Mrs. Sanford, was that her name? I believe it was. Cliff Pattison, just around the corner. Della Craighead was there, wasn't she? There's Mrs. Johnson, who did our yearbook. Sue Sparks, Mrs. Box, Ruth Roberts, Mrs. Spurgeon, Ms. Entwistle, Ms. Burpo, Ms. Clark, Dave Clark, Ken Cross, Pat Myers, Jack Grace, my good friend, Doyle Vandergriff, Noel Kaiser, Mort Coupland, the custodial staff, Lois Splinter, whom I left out earlier, and the kitchen staff, and all those who made it possible for our school to be as great as it was. I will never forget those people. I will never forget you. I love you all, and I thank you very much for this invitation. Thank you all. There's one other thing we needed to do here. I'd forgotten about this a little bit, and were there other sheets there? Certainly there was something else, because I need it. Here we go. All right, here it is. All right. You remember this? A little tune that I wrote a few years ago. Oh, they're playing? They're playing? Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Oh, have the band members and the orchestra and the choir. You know, if the choral members, if you want to come forward, we want you to accompany us with this song, all right? Do we have the whole band and orchestra here? All right, this is the key. Let's see if you can get this pitch, all right? All right, are we ready? All right, this song goes, it's ready, here we go. Hail to thee, our alma mater, standing proud for all to see. Filled with grace and dignity, we'll march to face our destiny. Armor shining with green and gold, truth and might lead the Spartans bold. To the sky our banners fly, for sooner high. All right, great job, everybody. Now, do you remember it? Oh, ready, roll. Oh, we are the mighty Spartans. We are the team so bold. We are the the dauntless Spartans, colored green and gold. We are the mighty Spartans, keep our armor bright. We are the winning Spartans, so let's fight, fight, fight. Woo! Good job, everybody. You are one heck of a band and orchestra, I'll tell you.
You played a trumpet, don't you?
So those Wildcats that eat their hearts out. So this is what we've all been waiting for, with the unveiling of the
Turn them ears.
So we're going to move over to the circle over here.
Great to doing.
So this buffalo has two sides. So you can kind of roll around over here and see this side first if you want.
Where do you want to go? First and back?
Is that how we're going to do it?
Are we ready? Are they ready over there? We'll do it all at once. You guys ready? You want to do it together?
So you haven't rehearsed this?
No.
We'll see how this goes.
All right.
So you tired of looking at